Awaken, Positive Psychology, 5 minutes book summary, Thanks a Thousand, a gratitude journal by A.J. Jacobs. The idea was deceptively simple. New York Times bestseller author A.J. Jacobs decided to thank every single person involved in producing his morning cup of coffee. The resulting journal takes him across the globe, transforming his life and reveals secrets about how gratitude can make us all happier, more generous, and more connected. Author A.J. Jacobs discovers that his coffee and every other item in our lives would not be possible without hundreds of people who usually take for granted. Farmers, chemists, artists, presidents, truckers, mechanics, biologists, miners, smugglers, and goat herds. By thanking these people face to face, Jacobs finds some much needed brightness in his life. Gratitude does not come naturally to Jacobs. His disposition is more Larry David than Tom Hanks. But he sets off on a journey on a dare from his son. And by the end, it's clear to him that scientific research on gratitude is true. Gratitude's benefits are legion. It improves compassion, heals your body, and helps battle depression. Jacobs gleans wisdom from vivid characters all over the globe, including the Minnesota miners who extracted the iron and that makes the steel used in coffee roasters, to Madison Avenue marketers who captured his wandering attention for a moment, to the farmers in Colombia. Along the way, Jacobs provide wonderful insights and useful tips, from how to focus on hundreds of things that go right every day instead of the few that go wrong, and for how our culture overemphasizes the individuals over the team, and how to practice the art of savoring meditation and fall asleep at night. Thanks a Thousand is a reminder of an amazing interconnectedness of our world. It shows us how much we take for granted. It teaches us how gratitude can make our lives happier, kinder, and more impactful. And yet, it inspires us to follow our own gratitude trails. Thanks a Thousand is about A.J. Jacobs' decision to thank every person involved in making his morning cup of coffee and the resulting journey. Thanks a Thousand, A.J. Jacobs. In a nutshell, gratitude is the single best predictor of well-being and good relationships. Gratitude emerges from two stages of information processing: affirmations and recognition. Practicing gratitude is challenging because if something is done well for us, the process behind is largely invisible. People who say the phrase "I'm grateful" are seen as more genuinely thankful than when people simply say thank you. Our comfort in life often comes at the expense of others. Thanks a Thousand, A.J. Jacobs. One study summarizes, and Scientific American found that gratitude is the single best predictor of well-being and good relationships, beating out 24 other impressive traits such as hope, love, and creativity. According to Robert Emmons, a psychology professor at UC Davis, grateful living is possible only when we realize that other people and agents do things for us that we cannot do for ourselves. Gratitude emerges from two stages of information processing: affirmations and recognition. We affirm the good and credit others with bringing it about. In gratitude, we recognize that the source of goodness is outside of ourselves. Thanks a Thousand, A.J. Jacobs. Gratitude is difficult to maintain and requires efforts and intentions, because if something is done well for us, the process behind is largely invisible. Scott Barry Kaufman, an author and researcher, that taught positive psychology and gratitude at the University of Pennsylvania, told Jacobs, "Gratitude has a lot to do with holding on to a moment as strongly as possible. It's closely related to mindfulness and savoring. Gratitude can shift our perception of time and slow it down. It can make our life's pretty annoyance dissolve away at least for a moment." Jacobs invites readers to make a concerted effort to acknowledge all the good things that take for granted. Thanks 1,000 A.J. Jacobs. When it's effective, gratitude should be a two-way street. It should be helpful to both the thanker and the thankee. It's not just a self-help tool, it should brighten other lives. Jacobs quotes a Wharton study that concluded that Jacob, who say the phrase "I'm grateful," are seen as more genuinely thankful than when people simply say "thank you." Habit for Humanity co-founder Millard Fuller once said, "It's easier to act your way into a new way of thinking than to think your way into a new way of acting." One realization of Jacobs had while going through his gratitude project was that his comfort often comes at the expense of others. Thanks 1,000 A.J. Jacobs. Jacobs recounts spending one morning reading out a list of horrible diseases he didn't have as a reminder of his good health. It's much easier to be grateful for a good thing, a raise at work, a delicious meal, than for a lack of a bad thing, right, Jacobs? But both are important. Top 5 gratitude books. Gratitude Works by Robert A. Emmons. Everyday Gratitude by A Network for Grateful Living. A Gift of Imperfection by Bernie Brown. Choosing Gratitude by Nancy Lane DeMoss. 1,000 Gifts by Anne Voskamp.